So I was just doing dishes, and the Lord gave me a word, and also I was speaking to the Lord. So I mentioned it before, like, don't mind the background noise. I mentioned it before where the Lord talks to me when I'm around water, but I also talk to the Lord when I'm around water. Anyway, so I have been very strongly attacked for this last week, and it's of no surprise. I'm used to it. I know why, who, what, where, when, how. But I just asked God, like, I was listening to some other videos, and I was like, why am I being so attacked at this time? And for one, as I've already mentioned in the previous word, it's the full moon coming up, right? So this word here is for anyone who has been going through attacks. So if everything has been really good for you lately, for say the last couple weeks, this message might not apply to you. But for the chosen ones who have been attacked for the last few days here, God's given me more insight on it, and he's saying the reason we've been attacked is because, one, there was Thanksgiving, right? Now I'm in Canada, so I celebrate the Thanksgiving in October, so this November holiday didn't really play a part for me. However, that doesn't matter. It's just like with Christmas. Whether you celebrate Christmas or not, Satan's still aware what Christmas means in the world, right? So he's aware of so many chosen ones and so many prophets celebrating Thanksgiving, and that it is, again, I've mentioned this in another word, but godly holiday in the way that there's happiness, there's family, there's being grateful, there's sharing meal together. You know what I mean? It's not a demonic time, right? It's a joyful time, and he doesn't want there to be any family, any joy, any happiness. So because of that holiday, he's been on the rampage, and also it falls in line during the same week of the full moon. Now, I've asked God because, like, say for instance, Easter, okay? Easter in April is a very anointed time as well. And there's also obviously a full moon in April too. So I'm like, yeah, I get all that, but it just seems like it's been escalating. So God said that, yeah, that's because he hasn't given me all the details yet. So I'm going to wait. He told me he will. It's just not time yet. But God said that there's something coming up. I don't know if it's in December or January or February, but it's in the next 1 to 3 months anyway, where there's something going to go on in favor of the underdogs. So, like, those that, like, for the last few months have been, say you've been, I'm just going to use an example. Say you've been struggling financially, okay? And say you've also been struggling with health issues, or even your children have, or something like that. Something that's kind of, on the negative side, right? Well, that's because Satan has been trying to attack you if you're a chosen one. And he's basically, what God's trying to do is he's going to take those who have been going through a harder time the last couple months and either elevate them or give them something positive, like do a 180 in their situation spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and financially. I know we've been hearing this, but again, I've said before in the past too that it's because God gives his prophets words at different times. So someone else might get the same word or download as me and put the prophecy out a year before it comes to pass. I will get the same download, but I'll put it out 2-3 months before it comes to pass. It doesn't mean that I'm more, knowing, or they're more knowing. God will put the word out to all of his chosen ones so that they're all on the same page, but at different times. And it's also dependent on, where you're at in your journey and things like that. So I myself typically get my words just shortly before they happen. Like, I know of some prophets who get words months to years before they occur, but my case, it's like months before they occur. So anyway, so God was telling me that September started the kickoff. Like, obviously we've been attacked since January 2023, but it kept leveling up to where it really got piled on for September. And this piggybacks off another word that I put out recently, where September is the 9th month, of course, right? So if something's supposed to turn around in chosen one's favor and bring the underdogs up and the ones that are up down, like do a complete turnaround, September is like the last quarter. It kicks off the last quarter before that's going to hit, right? So I've already put out a word then January 2024. Well, all throughout 2024, we're going to see some changes. But I put that word out last month, so it was still a bit premature. Because like I say, God reveals things to me as it draws closer and closer and closer, right? So this is kind of like a part 2 to the ones I've already put out already leading up to this in this last month. So he's saying like September was the kickoff. So say January 2023, it started at level 1, February a level 2, March a level 3, April level 4, etc., etc. By the time it got to, so it's got 12 levels to go, say. By the time it got to September, it was level 9. By the time it got to October, it was level 10. And then obviously November, level 11, and then December, level 12. And it's all a build up to whatever's going to be coming after this quarter is passed. So now in hindsight, I think that it's going to tie into January, February, March, like the start, like 2024 is going to be this switch up, right? We're going to see that. And so like I said in my password, Psalm 24 is related to 2024. So don't think it's strange if you have felt your warfare kick up a notch in September, kick up an even higher notch in October, an even higher notch in November. And I'm going to be honest and say today on November 24th, it's probably going to hit you even higher in December, okay? Because like I was saying, there's this leveling up and there's this building up to 2024. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen in 2024. But I do know that there's going to be a change up of things, right? So 2023 was used as kind of like a testing year. So the Lord was testing his good ones, his righteous ones, his chosen ones from January 2023 to December 2023, right? And if you're on the same journey as me and you're a true chosen one, then you would see how, in hindsight of the year, how this has applied to you. You're probably in a greater capacity spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically today in November 2023 than you were in January 2023 when the year first kicked off. I know I am, right? Like, I'll be honest, when January 2023, February, March 2023, I was still smoking cigarettes, right? I wasn't lukewarm, but I wasn't as strong on my journey and in my gifts and in my faith as I am now. I wasn't even reading the Bible in that first time frame, like the first quarter. I would like read it here or there. Here we are now, November. At this point now, I stopped any addictions, any sinful addiction I had. That all got ended between April and July, so in the middle of the year. And now today, I've been completely smoke-free for 5 months and counting. Not it at all. And the Lord delivered me, right? And now I read the Bible daily, right? I talk to the Lord daily. So I was close with the Lord in January 2023, but not as close and as like saved and delivered back then as I am now. And that's only been in this last year, right? So I put out the word about Psalm 2023 playing into year 2023, and it did. For me, like, I heard that at the beginning of the year, and for me, it totally fit this whole year. And the Lord says that Psalm 24 is going to play into 2024. And if you're curious what that breakdown is, I already put out a word about it a couple weeks ago, but in regards to that, I'm just certain, as I'm receiving another download from the Lord today, November 24th, we're on the cusp of that, that the new year 2024 coming. So again, as it draws closer, there's more unveiling, more revealing, right? So this just confirms all the more of what I was saying last month. And I'll probably have even more details this time next month, right? So, I went for a walk today, and God was telling me clearly on my walk, he said, what goes up must come down, and what comes down must go up, right? There's no other way for something. If you're at the bottom, you have to go up. And if you're at the top, the only way to go, if you're not going higher, is to go all the way down. So 2023 was a test for the chosen ones to, like, God knew you were going to pass. It wasn't a test, it was in your favor. It wasn't a test you could have failed. It was a test all in your favor. But it was to advance you, like I just said with myself, same thing as for you, right? It was to advance you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, maybe not necessarily financially, because that's of the world, but internally, right? It was to grow you. So now that you're receiving your growth, those that were against you, the enemies, they are going to go down. So they were being tested at the same time as you were. So it was a test that you could pass, and they had the option to pass as well, but they did not pass. You have, however. Now, with that said, God, you got to think it's a test between good and evil and good, right? So God was not expecting the evil to be perfect, but he also wasn't expecting the good to be perfect either, right? He understands that the wicked are still human, and that you are righteous, but you're still human as well. So therefore, he was testing both sides, but he wasn't expecting perfection. So if throughout the year there were times that perhaps you maybe sinned here or there as you were trying to go through because you didn't understand, God understands that. He understands that you're going to be, not perfect and struggling here and there, especially if, like me, you were having to overcome some things throughout the year. And same with the wicked. He wasn't expecting them to all of a sudden overnight just become completely righteous and holy, He understands that it's a journey, but you had opportunity to forfeit, even though it was set in your favor. You had opportunities to forfeit such things, and you didn't forfeit. You didn't turn, you didn't forfeit, none of it. They had opportunity to become righteous and holy, and they didn't take it. So it's like a parallel to whatever happened with you. So you were righteous and had a chance, an opportunity to go down and become more wicked and forfeit, more or less. But you never once took those opportunities. It's just, God's reminding me of the book of Job, where everyone told him, including his wife, like, look at you, you're going through things, just curse God, give up God, and just, call it a day. And he refused. You had opportunities like that. Like Job, you were tested throughout 2023. And you were given opportunities to just curse God and say, well, that's that, you know what I mean? But you didn't do that. So therefore, you passed your test. It was a test that you were predestined to pass regardless, but we all have free will, and God doesn't trump the free will. So if you really, truly, truly wanted to do that, like say you didn't want to give up the sins, say you didn't want to stop the addictions. Like I technically didn't have to give up the cigarettes, but I did, right? And God was wanting me to do that. He was leading me down the path, and I said, let's do this. And I chose along with him. He extended the offer and the opportunity, and I took him up on the offer and the opportunity. So therefore, I came into agreement, right? And because I came into agreement, I passed the test. I didn't have to come into agreement. Well, these people were given an offer and an opportunity here and there just throughout the year 2023 like you were, and they didn't come into agreement with it. So therefore, you made your choice and they made theirs. 2023 was used as like a year of not just trial and testing, but like of, seeing what you're made of and what side you're going to take and where you're going to be, where you're going to stand. Now 2024 is going to be the year of judgment, more or less, where the good will be rewarded and the bad will be rewarded as well. So the wicked are going to get their reward, and the good are going to get theirs as well, because we all know there's only one winning team, right? There's just one winning team. And we all have a choice as to what team we're going to play on. And the wicked had opportunity to play on the team you play on, but they chose not to take it. And you had opportunity to play on their team, but you chose not to take it. So the decisions have been made, and the year was used for that decision making, and the year is now wrapping up, and we're embarking closer now. Every day we're drawing closer and closer to 2024, therefore drawing closer and closer to whatever this result is. These results are going to go, like, you don't know and I don't know yet what's in store for the righteous, and we don't know what's in store for the wicked. But what the Lord has told me is that he's saying that the lots have been cast. I'm not really sure what that means, but that's what he said. He said, the lots have been cast. We've cast our lots. So you have and they have. And so there's no going back. The time is up. Like, it is what it is, right? Now, of course, there's never an end to being saved and delivered. You can beg for mercy and being saved and delivered on the judgment day, right? Doesn't mean it'll be successful, but the option is always available to you, and the Lord is merciful. However, he's just saying that 2023, you had 12 months to either poo or get off the pot. Basically, I don't want to say the swear word, but you know the phrase. And you chose the right decision, and they had the choice as well, and they chose the wrong decision. And so now Satan is aware that this has happened. Unfortunately, these people, the wicked, are under delusion. Now, you can place this wicked status on politics, on your family, on whoever it means. For me personally, it's on a personal, individual level, but it's also on a global level as well. So you can place the wicked status on whoever, like wicked label that whoever it applies to in your world. But he's just saying that they are under the spirit of delusion and confusion, and have been this whole year because of being on the wrong team. And as we already know, not only does Satan want you and me not to go to heaven and be redeemed, but he doesn't care about his children either. The only way he'll protect them or preserve them is if they can continue to work for him to try to sabotage the chosen ones and the righteous ones. That's the only way he will give any care about them at all, is if they can continue to try to bring down others, right? But that's about as far as it goes. Other than that, he doesn't care. So therefore, he knows that he's literally leading these wicked people to the pits of hell, and he doesn't care about that. That's why the Lord has been telling you and me all through 2023 that we have to pray for our enemies, right? Those who go against us. But those that make it to 2024 are going to see the result of the lots that they cast. And you will see it too. They will see your reward, and you will see theirs. And because we're drawing closer and closer to it, that's why Satan's attacking, or using them to attack you stronger and stronger. It was strong. It escalated. It jumped up in September. It jumped up even more in October. They wanted to use the month of October, the evil month, to their advantage. Then it jumped up even more here in the month of November, because we're drawing closer to the new year, and Thanksgiving was in November. And it'll be even stronger next month in December, because it's Christ's birthday that we celebrate, and more holiday time, and we're even closer to the new year. So I don't know what exactly is going to kick off in the new year, like in 2024, but something is, and the Lord will reveal more to me as we draw closer. But sorry that this word was scattered. I'm a little bit tired today, and this video is not edited. My son was needing my help earlier, so never mind that. Thank you for listening. I hope it blesses you and helps you. But yeah, so I know it's kind of all over, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. The Lord's saying that if you're finding yourself attacked more since September, even more in October, and even more in November, that this is why it's happening, is because we're drawing closer and closer to the 11th hour. And the 11th hour is going to kick off either in December, but for sure some point in 2024. And I'm feeling like in the first quarter. So because it's drawing closer, the enemy's aware of that. So he's trying even harder and faster and quicker to try to get you, basically. I'm not sure fully why. I don't know. But that's the whole agenda. And that 2023 was used as a year to grow the chosen ones in many different ways. I know I was. And it also was used towards the wicked. And the chosen ones used it wisely, and the wicked did not. And we're going to see the results from those choices coming up in the not so distant future. So I hope this blesses you. God bless.